former Mayor Bloomberg heads into the race. He has filed paperwork in Alabama. All of his wolf tickets that he's sold over the years about running for president, well, he's just cashed them all in one fell swoop. That's right, guys. The man who invented or perfected, maybe not invented, maybe he didn't invent it, perfected stop and frisk in New York City, has reared his billionaire head, his penguin-like billionaire head, to run for president. And he says it's because these darn Democrats just aren't going to get it done. He's looking out at the field of Democrats and he says we can't let it be this crop of misfits, progressives, and centrists. And Bloomberg said he has to get in the race. So this is where we are, guys. Now, I did a scathing. When I say scathing, you know how I go. It was tough even for my standards, right? I tore Michael Bloomberg apart in my way of using comedy, infused with a little bit of reality. It was a thing of beauty. I hope you check it out. It's on my YouTube channel. Go check it out. It's 3 minutes of fun. But then I also did a more elaborate breakdown of Michael Bloomberg and why he cannot be the nominee. And then someone hit me up on Twitter and they said, Tim Black, check this out. This person is someone who's kind of, sometimes I don't know which way he's coming or going, but I think he's dead spot on this one. There was an article by Mr. Charles Blow of New York Times. And I know how you guys feel about Charles Blow at times. I know how I feel about him at times. But the thing is this. People feel different ways about me at times. People feel different ways about all of us at times. That does not. I'm one of those people that believe that we separate the person from past activity and we look at each thing on its own merits. And I'm trying to tell you, Charles Blow wrote a hell of an article dismantling Michael Bloomberg. Now, the article's fantastic. Of course, it's on New York Times website. You can go check that out. I'm not going to read it to you. But what I do have for you is Charles Blow on his Instagram account speaking some truth to power about Michael Bloomberg and some little-known facts about Michael Bloomberg and his reign of racism and bigotry in New York City. Check this out. All right, so let me do this again. I don't want to show you the whole Charles Blow clip because, well, first of all, I don't think I had a right to show all 8 minutes of it. But what I have for you is an excerpt of Charles Blow talking about the reign of Michael Bloomberg and how that impacted the lives of so many black young men and women, particularly black men, I should say, in New York City during his reign of, I think Michael Bloomberg was mayor for 3 terms. So what was it, 9 years, something like that? Okay, so anyway, here we go. There goes Charles Blow in the middle of his, I won't even call it a rant because it was more controlled and it had a lot more facts. So I'll just call it in his soliloquy about Michael Bloomberg, making the case for why Michael Bloomberg should never, ever, ever be president. Here we go.
With black pain, right? People are just like, oh, but it's not so bad. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, right? It is that bad, right? There are people at the height of stop and frisk. They were stopping somewhere close to 700,000 people in New York City. 55% or so of those were black people, almost all of them young, almost all of them men. At that point, there were about 300,000 young black men in New York City, aged 14 to 34. It is completely possible that they were actually stopping and frisking more young black men in New York City than there were young black men in New York City. Meaning somebody was taking 1, 2, 3, 4 stops. Meaning the New York Times has looked at this and there were people who had been stopped dozens and dozens and dozens of times. Never did anything wrong. And I'm raising 2 boys in this city, and you're petrified because you're thinking, how am I training them well enough to deal with that encounter with the police? Because it is not officer friendly. Stop you. It's not Andy Griffin or somebody from your, happy television show Cop, right? This is intense. You are powerless. You are humiliated. You are angry. You can do nothing. You try to resist it, that actually is a crime. You try to resist it, you could lose your life. It's interesting how people basically have no skin in the game, literally have no skin in the game. It's never going to happen to you. It's never going to happen to your kids. You never have thought about it happening to your kids. How could it? They're innocent. They're doing nothing wrong. No one would ever do that, right? Right. You have no skin in the game. You have to talk to some of these kids who this happened to. I had listened to one kid talk at a gala. It was a young man. For whatever reason in his family, he was taking care of his younger brother and sister. They were in his care. I mean, he was a caregiver, primary caregiver. And it happened multiple times. I think he was part of the actual suit that they filed and was the stop and frisk was found unconstitutional. And he goes through what one of those felt like. He had to leave the house at night. He went to get milk or something. You know how kids need things. And he stopped in the middle of that process of getting to the store. And his stop is on the ground. And they feel everything. And, they think, oh, well, they might stash jugs in between their buttocks. So they're in between your buttocks. You're on the ground. You did nothing wrong. You have to get milk. The kids are at home. And they find nothing, of course. And he says they don't even say anything. They just get back in the car. He stays on the ground until they drive away. And he has to get back up and can recompose himself and continue to the store and get that milk.
Yeah, it's one of the sad realities of being someone who tries to speak truth to power, and you want to fight for justice, and you're a political commentator, or an analyst, or maybe you're an activist. And the reality is that there are no perfect parties. But there are definitely those in the liberal set, those on the left, who consider themselves on the left. I would argue that they're not leftists at all. There's something else. In another time, they'd be Republicans. But they don the veneer of Democrats, and they like to say that they are, liberal, who would suggest that Michael Bloomberg would be a great candidate because he's so pragmatic. The fact is, a lot of people don't care about the same things some of us care about, nor can they see how even a policy that was ruled unconstitutional because it infringed upon the rights of citizens who are children and young people and adults who pay taxes in this country, who fought in this country, whose parents have fought in this country, brought land in this country, raised children in this country, taxpaying citizens of this country who should be afforded all the rights, are being focused on, singled out, and harassed daily. And Charles Blow goes on to make an excellent case for what it mentally does to a child who's supposed to look at cops as my protector. That's how you're supposed to see a cop. You're supposed to see a police officer and be like, man, there's a cop over there. We good. Because the cop is supposed to protect you, but that's not the reality for a lot of us, right? When we see police, we don't think that. Now, I know that crosses racial lines, right? But the bottom line is, more often than not, white folks just feel like cops, if they get a bad cop, they're surprised. If I get a bad cop, I'm not surprised. If I get a good cop, I'm surprised. Surprised? And I've gotten some good cops. And I've gotten some bad cops. And when I've gotten the good cops, I've been like, damn, that was a good cop. Baby, that was a good cop we just got, man. Wow. He didn't make me get on the ground or nothing in front of my kids. He didn't pull his gun on me or nothing. He's not supposed to pull his gun on you. He's not supposed to humiliate you in front of your children and your wife. But that's how I feel every time, even now. Grown-ass man with gray in my beard covered up with coloring, dye. I still feel fortunate when I'm not humiliated to that extent. So Michael Bloomberg should not be. And look, and this is not just for Michael Bloomberg, but I put out a tweet and I said it, guys. I don't think any former prosecutor should be the Democratic nominee. Black people have done too much. If it wasn't for black people, Democrats would never be elected. Ever. Ever. White people never elect Democrats. Black people elect Democrats. Do you understand? Democratic Party owes their existence to black people. They don't act like it. So based on that alone, I say we should never elect a prosecutor whose job was, I don't care, I'm just doing my job. I just did what I was told to do. I don't care. No prosecutor should ever be Democratic nominee, not in a party that's been built off the blood and sweat and toil and votes of black people. Not the way we get incarcerated. Not the way that system's set up. I mean, we agree the system's jacked up. We agree the system's not fair. And it's not fair to who? Black people and poor people. Black people happen to be the poorest people in the country. So the same token, that's one of the reasons why ain't really nothing Amy Klobuchar can say to me. There is nothing Kamala Harris can say to me because I will never support their candidacies because they were former prosecutors. Give me a public defender. They're drug treatment counselors, and there's all types of people who are attached to our criminal justice system whose job was not to put more people in jail. You do realize that, right? It's not like all we have are former people who prosecute. There are other people. There are other people. Why don't you send me some of those people? So anyway, back to Michael Bloomberg. On the same token, I can never support a mayor who supported stop and frisk. I hope that you feel the same way. Now, of course, Michael Bloomberg is a disgusting individual for so many other reasons. You know, the elitism is one of them. Right? There's other reasons. But that just jumps out. Like, how could you support a guy? And there are some. So do me a favor. The next time you're around liberals talking about Michael Bloomberg in a positive way, as if you need a billionaire to be the billionaire. No, what we need is some truth to power. See, Trump didn't win because he has money. Trump won because he spoke truth to power. He called out the Bushes. He called out the Clintons. People like truth to power. I don't think it had anything to do with his money. They want to make it so it's like, oh, it's money against money. Big money versus big money. No, we need less money in our politics. That's not good. We don't need big money in politics. So one, I don't think Michael Bloomberg should be able to buy his way into this damn race at all. But I think him being even considered. I know we can't control who enters a race. But even being considered for a scintilla. If you think longer than that, over if Michael Bloomberg should get your vote, get the hell off my channel. Go away. I'm serious. I say we ain't our past votes, but we damn sure going to be our future votes. If you sit around contemplating Michael Bloomberg, just get on. I don't even want to argue with you in the comment section. You are so far gone, you need a detox from all types of stuff. I'm not qualified to give you the brain, the lobectomy. You need a lobotomy. Your brain needs an enema if you think about Michael Bloomberg. So shout out to Charles Blow for calling this one as straight as possible. Keeping it 100,000. On the travesty, which is Michael Bloomberg being considered in any way, shape, or form as a contender for the nomination. He's talking about what these other Democrats can't do. Man, we got several people in this race who are much better than you, who I would consider much, much quicker than you, and all of them are Bernie Sanders. Because that's it for me. But, yeah. But Michael Bloomberg, get on. Did you enjoy that content? I know you did. You got great taste, Johnson. What can I say? Become a member of the Tim Black Wolf Pack today right here on YouTube or go to patreon.com, Tim's Take Live. And you'll get free stuff, special stuff, secret stuff. Do it today. Wolfpack.